SamuraiRevolution here, and today we are jumping into India for the best strategy series. Welcome back. If you watch the China series, we're going to jump into India here. I'm going to give you my deck impressions and then show you some gameplay footage of me using a pretty similar deck to this one. Cool thing with India is that their decks can be, there's a lot of cards that can go either way, and a lot of it's up to your choice, which I like. It kind of can be hard sometimes making those decisions to put in your deck. But I think that's one of the cool things about India is that there's a lot of cards that you can put in, and either way you'd be good off. Just kind of down to how you want to play. So first thing off the bat is that India gets villagers with the shipments here. So you're not going to have any villager cards. You get a villager with every shipment. That helps and adds up over time, and it's pretty cool. But let's jump into your resource crate cards first. So you're going to definitely want 600 wood and 600 coin, age 2. You're going to want to get that wood out so you can get some villagers out of it, as well as your houses, market, trade post, whatever you want with that. And then you want to get your coin out because it all costs coin for India, except the Mahouts. So you need to get that coin out to help you either age or produce more units or whatever you decide to do. And age 3, you want to have that 900 wood infinite card so you can get your town centers out. And you can do some multiple things with that too. You get some sacred fields out if you wanted. Obviously more villagers. And it is an infinite card, so it's nice to have that card in your deck too. So those are 3 you're definitely going to have. If you want, you can add in, I think there's an extra card here I don't have right now. There's a 6 or 1400 or something, 1200 maybe, resource crate. So you might want to have that, and it's infinite for age 4. If you like that a little bit later on, you can have that one too. Just going to continue getting that wood, even though the game, the trees might be gone or something. That'd be great for a late game deck if you wanted to. So India does have some pretty solid late game cards in terms of infinite cards, and we'll get into that a little bit later too. So that is resource crate wise. That's what you want to do. I wouldn't really worry too much about the food because India is not buying villagers with food. So you don't need to worry about your hunts running out so fast because all that food from your hunts are going to go to age ups or military, and not the villagers, so that's going to help out big time. So yeah, so that's all that. Let's go into the, I want to go to the market, and see these resource upgrade cards here. So you definitely want both wood trickles in your deck. I really enjoy these cards. I've been a little skeptical in the past about using them, because you're like, why would you just send it in when you can just enhance all your resources gathering? And I kind of talked about this in one of my previous videos, but with these cards, additionally, on top of your villagers, you're getting more villagers, essentially. So later in the game, let's say you're at max villager population, you're getting extra wood on top of those villagers that you have gathering resources. So that's one thing you'll be able to go over Villy Pop. The second thing is that when wood is off the map, you can continue to gather wood, which is another thing as well. On top of that, you don't have to send your resources to and from wood. You don't have to micromanage it. It's already gathering. So that is good there. Another thing is that you're not having any villagers to send in, so this can kind of replace those villagers if you just send them in and they start gathering wood for you. And then one of the biggest things, I think, is that you're going to continuously gather this wood even if you have villagers inside your town center. So like if you ring the bell and you have to get your villagers inside, you will continue to gather wood, and I think that's something that a lot of people overlook, and I think it's just as beneficial as having this. And I think those perks add up to making these cards very valuable, especially for the Indian player in this game. So I would definitely recommend using both of these and sending them in. I don't remember in the gameplay clip if I use these straight off the bat. I know I've been experimenting with it, and my overall conclusion after many games is to use these instead of your woodcrafting first. So that's my biggest recommendation, is to do that, and those are my reasons why. So other than that, what you want to do is you definitely want to have your coin, Royal Mint in here. You want to have, I just want to make sure. I'm surprised that they don't have refrigeration. Yeah, they don't have refrigeration. I just want to make sure. That's just surprising to me. You don't really see too many civs that don't have that. That's kind of funny. So you want Royal Mint in there for sure. I like having the woodcrafting one in there because so I can have one upgrade to my villagers gathering wood. And it's nice to have that because you don't need to put so many villagers on wood. If you have all 3 of these in, you barely need to put anyone on wood. And you'll get plenty of villagers for your spawning and obviously buildings and stuff too. So that's awesome there. I like having both of these age 1 just for later game upgrades. You can, if you like going a little bit late game, just being a little comfortable later in the game, you can toss these in there. Not necessarily, this is more of a preference for me, but you can toss those in there if you'd like to. or you could use these for units, which we'll talk about in a little bit. Some really cool cards. I don't use them as much, but awesome cards here are the Grove Rickshaws. So you can have two of them here, and one of them in Age 1, so this is for Age 2. And this basically spawns out a little tree farm for you, which can be vital if your map is not heavy on wood, or you're in the late game and you need some more wood or something. You can spawn these guys out, and they'll get the job done for you. So you can have like a wood farm for you getting some wood if you need to. And also, you don't have to worry about getting raided or anything, too. So these could be pretty beneficial, I think. If you have room in your deck and you are scared about getting raided and stuff, I'll definitely put in one of these cards. Obviously, the Age 2 card is going to be hard to put in because there's a lot of good Age 2 shipments. And the Age 1 card will be a little easier to put in, but you'll get 2 in Age 2 if you can fit it in there. So that's up to you. This is an okay card right here. It's a trickle for all your players, and I don't really use it because it's just such a small trickle rate. I'd rather use that specifically on this wood one and get that all in. But if you're a team player and you like to use it, you could toss that card in. But that's not my biggest recommendation. Additionally, this one right here helps your Sacred Fields so much. Look at those stats right there. So the Sacred Fields gather a lot better, and then the cows cost less as well. So I like having that one in there because I think the Sacred Fields are a great way to grab XP, especially on non-trade post maps. And you get food pretty easily with India because you're not spawning in villagers with food. So I think that's a pretty cool card to have too. I like tossing that one in my deck for that reason. And then you could also toss in Fur Trade down here. Your food is exchanged for a greater amount of coin if you like that later in the game. So that's just your preference too. A lot of great options to go for in this one. But I definitely would recommend these two. And definitely the Royal Mint. And then kind of everything else up to you and how you want to play. So just tossing that out there. Let's go down to, let's see. We can go to the military, and we'll talk about some shipments here. So, must-have shipments. I highly recommend having your 5 Sepoy and your Forge Sour in there. I think, obviously, these guys are great because you can toss out 4 of them early on and you get some raiding in. I know they're not the best unit, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. And having your 5 Sepoy is almost a must, especially if you get raided or anything. You can just toss those guys out and be a little safe. But really strong card to have, too, because Sepoys are very powerful. Age 2, we all know that, how good they are musketeer-wise. But as we were talking about with these, you need to have at least one of these attack cards in here. So you can toss out Camel Attack, which I like. All actions damage increased by 30%. Very solid percentage right there. Another great card right here is Desert Terror. If you want both of the, if you use camels a lot and you want both of these in your deck, go ahead. Feel free. I just don't use this one because I kind of like having both of these cards in there. And I also like having Battlefield Construction. I could easily just switch that out there if I wanted to. Just kind of up to how you want to play. I'll leave that in there for now. But I think it's pretty good, especially if you need to go with camels. They make them more powerful, as you can see. They do better against archers and skirm. And then the Dragoon-like camel unit right there, Zamburex, they get a heavy cavalry bonus for their damage against them too. So they'll get that as well. And as a 2-in-1 card, it helps out all your camels, and especially later in the game, I think that helps out a lot. So that's a pretty good card to have in there too. I think I'm going to stick it in there for now and play with it a little bit more. But yeah, so those are Age 2 cards. Age 3 is where it gets kind of fun. And you could also toss in the 5 Rajputs if you want. I don't really care for these guys much, or I had the Sepoy in there. That's just my preference, though. But Age 3 is where it can get really fun here. So I definitely would recommend having your 2 Siege Elephant card in here, dude, for 500 food. So think about this. Villager costs are 100 food, right? So if you take that in consideration, you're getting a villager out of this. You're getting 2 Siege Elephants for 400 food, which is crazy good. We know how good Siege Elephants are because they don't have to limber or unlimber anything. They can just fire right away. And they're good for taking down artillery and buildings. So really awesome card right there. I really would recommend tossing that one in. And if you want to, you can toss out 3 Mahouts in there too. Costs 1,000 food. Pretty strong card to have Age 3 as well. And then kind of whatever you want. If you want some Sepoy, obviously toss out Sepoy in there. Gurkha, you toss out Gurkhas in there too. I just like having this one in there. I'm more of a having the infantry heavy, or the units a little heavier in Age 2. And then Age 3 kind of going for some more upgrades on those units. That's kind of how I like to play. But if you like to do that, you can do that too. Another really strong recommendation. I like having these guys, but if you want, you can toss out the 7 Urami in there. These guys are great. If you haven't used them, just give them a shot and you'll see how good they are. You can have this card in there for age 3, or you could have the 9 of them age 4. And that's why I like having these guys, because they're infinite and you can keep sending them in. I think they cost 700. Yeah, 750 food there, and you get age 4. And they're very beneficial, guys. Just give them a shot and you'll see how good they are. And, and yeah, I think that's a pretty good summary there for unit-wise on what I would do. You can obviously mix and match other units, but those are what I would say are your essential ones. Additionally, upgrades here. I like having the elephant, tame elephants here because it reduces costs and train time. And then you can have this one here, professional handlers, reduces their population. So that kind of lets you get more of them, which is a big thing with the elephants, that their population is so high. And I think that's a pretty good card to have, especially later in the game. You need to get those elephants out. That can help you out there. Elephant Combat's one you can have in there too. I don't have it because I'd rather have the 500 food for 2 siege elephants. I'd rather have that one in there. So that's just me and my preference. But you can change it up if you want. This card I've tried. It is not worth it, in my opinion. Camels now generate food and elephants generate wood. I did not think I was worth it at all. There was not a big enough gather rate. But that is just me. I wouldn't mess with that one too much. And then finally, what you want to top it off with is this card right here. 5% increase to all units, and that's a team card too. So your team just gets a nice, beautiful boost right there. And you're looking pretty right there. So that's the military. Actually, one more thing while we're at military here. I want to go down to Customs House. The 8 Jat Lancer card is awesome. Age 4 card here. You get 8 of them for 1,500 coin. You can toss that one in there if you like, if you want to have some of that option there. If you don't like the elephants and you want a better cav option, dude, these guys are amazing. It's an age 4 card, so do know that. It's not an age 3 card. Some people think it's an age 3 card. It is an age 4 card, so you can toss it in there if you want. If you like having more units later in your game, these guys are great. You could also toss out the 8 war elephants for 1,000 coin. They're not as strong as you think they are. They're not like, where is it? They're not like the Mahouts. They're not as good as those guys. But they do a decent job, and they're infinite too, so that's pretty cool. So that's just all the units. Let's get into what we got next here. This Imperial Court. Let's talk about the upgrades here. So definitely want your 2 train times. That is given. You need that helping out you late game, middle game, wherever. Just having those units out quicker helps. And India does not have the 2nd train time from the church, so you definitely need to have the fencing school in there. And obviously the rank school too, so that's awesome. Good guard here that I use sometimes is Team Improved Buildings. 25% hit point bonus to all your buildings for your whole team. Really awesome card. If you're going late game, this card is great. Even in like middle of the game, it could be pretty good too. It's just one of those things that you can switch out if you have room in your deck, or if you like to play like that more. Also, really cool cards here. Royal Green Jackets. As you can see, the all action damage bonus there for heavy infantry with the Gurkhas. So that helps them out big time. And the Gurkhas are just solid, guys. I really enjoy using these guys because their range increases. Very good skirm unit, in my opinion. And this is our good upgrade card for them right there. And another upgrade card on top of that one is the British East India Company. As you can see there, look at all those units that get upgraded with this 10%. And that's just a great card to have, age 3 especially. It fits into your deck nice, and gets a nice bonus for all your guys there too. So I like that card in there as well. I think those are some pretty essential cards that would have him. Also pretty good here, Diplomatic Intrigue, 300 export. You can toss that card in there, age 2. I like having that one in, and it helps me side with Civilization a little cheaper. So it helps me side for 25 export instead of 100 export, which is always nice. And then you get some export as well. So pretty awesome stuff there. But that's an age 2 card, depending on how you want to do that. Is up to you. You could toss in, Good Faith Agreements in there. I had a lot of people tell me how good Faith Agreements is for China, and I used it after that video, and it is great. So definitely would recommend this if you like having your musketeers or such, or you side with France and get your cuirassiers on there. You can do this. It helps them come in a lot quicker, so that could be awesome there too. And then the last card here I'm going to talk about, one of my favorite cards, and it's not really applicable, it's just a fun card, is Sepoy Resistance. So for 2,000 wood, all your villagers convert to Sepoys. You can have some incredible late game rushes with this card. And I'm talking like, if you need an extra, if you don't know how big of an impact an extra like 100 Sepoys can do until you send this card, dude, it just does so much work for you. I guess an extra 50 Sepoy, but It's just crazy. No, I guess it is 100. It converts all of them. It's just crazy how much momentum you can get with this card. If it is late game and you need that extra push, dude, if you toss these guys in, your teammate will get overwhelmed. And if you have the wood trickles, you can continue to train villagers after that once you send in this card. Because you're going to be pushing your enemies so far back with this. If you don't kill them, you're going to get pretty darn close. And then, yeah, by the time that's over, hopefully you can get them to the end. Especially in a team game, it could be pretty helpful. But really fun card there. I would definitely add that card in. The only downside is it costs 2,000 wood, which kind of sucks. But you kind of get a mini revolution there with India, and you get to keep playing with your regular civs. So I think that's always fun. That's just one of my things with India right there, too, that I like to use. And up to you, but that's basically going to be it. I think we covered everything. Just want to make sure here. Yep. So that is going to be it with the deck creation. We're going to go into the gameplay clip. Alright guys, welcome to the gameplay clip. Playing on California here, and we are playing with a Chinese ally. I believe it's the same guy that I did that China-India strategy, or like combination video with. And yeah, so we're gonna do it here with India. We're playing against two clan mates, so I knew we were in for a good match here. And this was a pretty good match overall. I did enjoy this one. And so we're gonna get a little bit of a, I would say, stereotypical India game, and I think this does a pretty good job of it. So we're going to go C-point on this one, which I think is pretty standard for India, and we're just going to do our best on it. So, obviously, starting out here, we're tossing out 4 to 5 villies on that wood, and we're going to keep 2 on food. I got that one gathering the resources there. So, you want to have this so you can get a good production of villies while continuing to make progress towards the age up. As you can see here, we get really lucky with a wood treasure. You're going to definitely want to grab those. Those are for your villagers. And if you have enough wood, you can switch some more villages onto food so you can get a little bit of a faster age up. But yeah, so we're trying to talk out tactics here too. We're playing Germany and I think the Ottomans, which is a very aggressive combo right there. With Obus guns and Ulans and all that good stuff. So we are going to be in for this one, but this is going to be a great match, and I think it's going to be perfect for our India best strategy video here. So just doing our thing, and I have enough wood with this treasure that I know I don't need to have too many villies on the wood. I would normally have maybe like 6 on wood if I didn't find any wood treasures, but as you can see there, that gave me a huge boost to get those villagers out. So we're going to go in here, and I'm going to toss out the wood trickle first. And I kind of discussed previously how much I like the wood trickle in comparison to the wood gathering cards. So I try to get that one out first as your first card, and just have that in the back of your toolbox, if I would say so myself. And yeah, we'll toss out the other one later on. But first priority is to send that card in. In my opinion, I think it's a great play, and you'll get that wood trickle while you're aging as well, so that'd be awesome. So, terrible job hurting here. I don't know what was going on. Yeah, see, I was dragging my mouse because I was like, what is this nonsense? I remember that. I was like, this is terrible. So you see some terrible hurting gameplay by me, and I was honestly terrified. I was like, dude, we're playing Germany, man. These Ulans are going to come right in here. And my next closest herd, as you can see, way down the south, is miles away, so that's going to be an issue. But I'm going to try to do my best here. I think I'm going to get a tower up eventually to kind of assist that. But it's just something you got to deal with. Sometimes you get rough spawns, especially some of these maps. I know New England, for me, has been prevalent in the poor spawning of hunts. But yeah, you got to do what you got to do. And I'm trying my best here to start making that way towards the town center. Eventually, I'm just going to toss out a tower there, I'm pretty sure. But going for the age up here, I have around 15 vills, which is pretty solid. Depending on what you want to do, you can go a little more or a little less. If you want to rush, you can go around 13, 14. I did have the wood treasure, so if I didn't have that, I would have been closer to 14, 13, which I think is pretty standard. So I would shoot around 13 or 14. If you get wood treasures, then good. You can keep that production going. But I made a mistake here of having my settler having to travel 20,000 miles to build this fort. And this is what I need to tell you guys, because I forget this all the time. You need to send your villager super early to build your advanced fort. I also recommend sending 2 villagers. I got my second one coming down there, I think. But yeah, there he is. You got to do it, and I like having 2 because it's a pretty decent. It helps it come up decently quick without sacrificing too much, and it is your forward base, like it is your barracks. So you're kind of doing the same thing if you would any other civs, but you need to send them up early. I would send them around when you have like 500 food, right around that area. 500, 600 food. Send them up and make sure they're there right when you have 800 food. They'll help you so much. But as you can see, I was having a slow age up there. I could have had a much quicker age up. And it's going to kind of hurt a little bit, as you'll see in a little bit. But yeah, big recommendation there is get your 2 villies up way early so you can get that built as soon as you have your 800 food down. That's a big recommendation there. Yeah, look at that. Dude, Minutemen spawning in. And I run away so that the wonder builds itself. And if you guys don't know, it does build itself. I was just trying to get it going there, but I was like, all right, screw this. This is stupid. So I was getting irritated with that right there. That was getting me like mad. I was so mad. I was like, this is stupid. Playing dirty on this one. So I was gearing up for a good match here, and this is gonna be an amazing multi-kill here with our elephant, our explorer guy too. But yeah, I was livid at that point. But switching some villies on the coin. And I have right around 7 or 8 on wood. If you send that distribution or that wood trickle, all you need is around 6 to 8, depending on how you're trying to do this. Like for villi production, you only need, I would say, around like 6. But in terms of getting a houses out, you need to have around 8. So I send out that first. I didn't send in yet. Look at that, dude. Multi-kill is unreal. I was loving it. But I was so mad because that his thing didn't get up. They killed his villager, which was crazy. It kind of shows you what you could do there if you sent out Minutemen. It was kind of an interesting little experience there. But I'm tossing out 5 sepoy because I want to get guys out to help defend this. But yeah, depending on how you're doing this, if you're going for a little bit of a more eco-based, you could toss out wood so you can get your market upgrades and trade posts and stuff like that. I decided to send it in second so we get a big enough army going on, because I know they're rushing pretty hard at this point in terms of they're trying to really attack. Yeah, I mean, you have Otto's and Germany, so it's no big surprise, but you just gotta make sure. Additionally, make sure you set your, yeah, I always forget to do this too. Make sure you set your deployment point right at your fort, so your sepoy do that. But right after, make sure you set it back to your town center so your wood and any other resources you send in don't spawn in the forward base. So as you can see here, I have around 10 villagers on food, which is plenty. You don't even need that many, honestly, because of you're not spawning in villagers with food. You're spawning them in with wood. So that helps them out a lot. And I'm just making constant production here of sepoy. And just kind of doing my thing here. One thing that I had a lot of villagers on wood, 'cause I remember thinking this, is that I knew that I was going to run out of that hunt, and I did not want to have all my villagers down here gathering this hunt. So I tried to gather kind of quick there, so I can kind of set my villagers to the side. And going toe-to-toe here with some Jans, we're going to see the power to sepoy in this video. And I mass them up, just kind of doing their thing. And kind of waiting for the China teammate to get going. He's doing the water, so I know that. And I'm just trying to put some pressure on early. And kind of do my thing here. So we got lots of sepoy. Just got that shipment that was sent from my town center. Move them up towards the fort. And here we go, man. All that food's going down. Down that area. And I was kind of freaking out. But at the same time, we're gonna do our best on that. So getting that gathered real quick. And I know he's got Cav coming. Freaking out there. I'm like, oh my gosh, dude. Everyone's coming down there. Need to get that thing built quick. But he's going to be distracted there, so that's going to be awesome. But yeah, right now just trying to buy time for China to do their thing. Thought it was a great time to send in that second trickle card. And with both of those cards, our wood production is going to be amazing. And it's basically villagers coming in. So that's awesome. I love that. And then with that wood that we sent earlier, I'm getting the market out now. And kind of just getting upgrades and stuff. There's this one cav going up. And it's kind of funny. I don't really understand why they had Hussars raiding instead of the Uhlans. Like, I didn't really understand that at all. Like, you'd think that Germany would be going with some Uhlans for the raids, but that was not the case. I knew that Cav was out there, and I saw that he had super low health. So I was just like, screw it, dude. We're going to kill him with villagers. and kind of went on with YOLO right there. That was kind of funny. Yeah, look at this. I saw that, so I'm like, all right, come at me, bro. Like, I'll take that. Look at that. I just love that. That's great. It's really annoying when you're raiding and this happens. But if they have low health, man, kill them with the villagers, especially if a ton of villagers there. Do it, especially if you can get them in melee, and you can get a lot of good hits with that. And obviously, you can upgrade your villagers too, which I normally don't do. I normally do not do that one. But if you're getting raid constantly, it could be a good investment to just hit some shots on their cav. But right now, I'm just doing my thing, making sepoy, waiting for the teammate to get going here, and just buying him time. I think I have enough musketeers to hold anything off, but at the same time, they are going to have a lot of obus. So it's gonna be an interesting battle here in a little bit. But kind of just gonna go in, start do some housing, as we were talking about there. And I have tons of people on coin there, as you can see. Just trying to get all these upgrades in, as well as continue to get this sepoy army out. And feeling comfortable with them. I'm feeling really comfortable in this one. Getting trade posts, getting all the upgrades, villager production's good. Got all my upgrades in there in terms of the trickle cards. Got a decent-sized army. Like, this is going good right now. And then, boom, dude. Ulans for days in this one. I was waiting for it because I knew that he was doing something with those guys because he didn't go fast fortress. And I am just trying to hit and run here. And that, you can see here the power of the Ulans, man. Their heavy attack on what they can do. And you see that and you're like, dude, you have technically anti-cav with the sepoy. Just getting wrecked by those Ulans. And that shows you what happens when you get a massive Ulans, man. That's very, I want to say underrated, man. I know how many times I say things are underrated, but Ulan spam early on does so much damage if you can get enough of them. And this is going to be combined with the obus. So this is going to be an intense test for China and India. But luckily our Chinese player went with the water, which I think was a fantastic decision. And it's just going to work out for us because we know how good China's cav is age 3 once they get the, whatchamacallit, the hand mortars and the other one, the iron flails. Both of those end up being very devastating in terms of taking out infantry for us, so that's going to work out nicely. But just continuing to get those guys out. As you can see, I have tons of people on coin. I'm just spawning them in right there. And as you can see, like 6 people on wood. All good with my wood production. I don't need 1 million people on wood, and that's because I have those trickle cards sent in. And I'm getting houses out, I'm getting villagers out, I'm getting walls and trade posts and all that stuff. And yes, some of that was boosted with that 600 wood I sent in earlier. But overall, that's what happens when you get the trickle in. It's fantastic stuff. So yeah, just boosting up sepoy, just trying to get them going as much as I can. I'm just covering for my teammate. And just playing with India age 2. You can really use them age 2. And just go to their strengths because they have the Gurkha as well, so you don't necessarily need to age. And you got you got some great cards you can send. You got the distribution and all those trickles, and then the upgrades in terms of wood and other stuff. If you decide to get the Sacred Fields in, you can get so many shipments in there. So yeah, he spotted those dead animals, and I'm like, that's just ridiculous. So we're gonna send a batch over there, and we're just gonna continue to produce sepoy. And that's just the game plan right now. As you can see, our coin is through the roof. And I understand that. I'm just kind of trying to balance what I got here. I know I don't have too much access to the food in the south, so I'm going to start getting the villagers herding those in to make sure they're close. And I'm going to try to get some rice patties and stuff out. But I was really surprised that they didn't try to raid with their Ulans against these. Like, they didn't even come and check it out, which I was very confused about. Like, they didn't know I had a tower there. And I'm not sure if they saw that there were dead animals there or what, but it was kind of freaking me out, and that was kind of another reason why I sent over those sepoy was to protect those guys as well. So I'm getting Sacred Fields out so we can send tons of shipments and get that XP in, and then just make more sepoy. I'm gonna start to get ready for the age up here soon, but we're gonna have an interesting battle coming up here. I'm not sure when it happens exactly. It's been a while since I played this game, but it's gonna be an intense battle, and these sepoy are gonna be tested. But yeah, man, once India gets going, they got a nice boom going, I think, in terms of just how balanced their eco is. I think something that hurts them a lot is the train time later in the game. But mid-game, early game, India is fantastic. Once they get later in, like age 5, they do suffer. Age 4 even, you can kind of see a little bit. Age 2 to age 3 is when they excel the most. and we're just taking advantage of that here. So we're just gonna siege this out. We're just gonna cause problems, and I'm not even gonna actually not even gonna siege it. Yeah, okay, I'm gonna go back. We're gonna come back for more later, as you will see, but just boosting as many sepoy as I can get, and just having fun this one, man. Coins through the roof, and here we go. They're coming straight in with those Ulans, and here come the Ottomans as well. So I'm gonna toss out that because I realized I didn't have the council as well, which is something I want to talk about. But let's look at this battle, man. So many cav. I'm just trying to hit and run, get rid of these cav. Look at those obus guns in the back doing heavy damage to our infantry. And I'm freaking out at this point because I'm like, dude, these obus guns are going to slaughter us. So I'm trying to dance around this fort, trying to kill these cav, and trying to pop these guys out at the same time. And I know I still have sepoy in the west, but I'm keeping them there just in case. Not too overly concerned, but I'm still kind of freaking out at this point. So I'm going to try to get these guys in melee immediately there, and they're going to get slaughtered. Like, look at that. They're down like 2 seconds, man. Like, they're just completely gone. Trying to get hits on these guys, and I'm like, this is not working, man. I'm pulling out. I'm not losing all these sepoy to these obus. And thankfully, says some cav are about to pop. Just trying to keep this going here. And here we go. Cav is on the way. And we're trying to hit micro at the same time. And I was like, yeah, dude, we need to get those guys over here. So everything is getting tossed in this battle. Those obus guns are very expensive, but they do an amazing job, as we all know. So if we could take those out, that'll be very beneficial for us. Great play there with his cav. Makes him pull out those obus. And it was good. It was a good combination there in that whole battle. Just being able to deploy that cav at the right time, drawing him in, and getting the victory in the short term there. So yeah, getting all those sepoy together. Got a decent sized army once again. And I'm still age 2. Like, no rush going to age 3. Using the strengths that India has. I was gonna say the Indians. Yeah, the Indians have in terms of just getting everything going early on. I know I have to get the council out. It's something I want to talk about now. Is that I normally wait a while to get that council out, and that's something that I think should be used more. Like, especially with the British 10% bonus that you can get. It's fantastic to get that early on, and I do not do it enough. It's something I definitely need to know. I do not do that enough at all, and it's something I want to do more. So definitely try to get that out early. I like sending it in after I get that 300 export sent in, because I like that cheaper relations purchase. You can get it for 75% off instead of 100 export. It costs 25, and that's big time. I think that's pretty needed in terms of like siding with them, but at the same time, it could be just as beneficial if you side with them early, especially if you need some musketeers or something. You could definitely do it too. If you have good faith agreements, you can obviously abuse that too. I don't use that as much as I probably should. I think that would be a great card to have in this deck, especially if you like playing early on and just staying age 2. Load those age 2, age 1 shipments up, and just make them to your strong side, especially on maps where there's trade posts or animals like this one. My XP is flying in with those sacred fields and with the trade post. So it's a great combination there, and you can really get a ton of shipments in. It almost feels like playing with Spain at some points because you're getting so many shipments. But finally aging up here, as you can see, the economy is amazing. Got tons of people on coin, tons of people on food, and our wood. We don't have as many people, but we don't need it because we have those trickle cards in. So it's doing all great stuff for us. And we're ready, man. I'm ready. We're aging up. We're going to go in for this attack. I'm feeling good. At the same time, I was wishing we had more cav. But I'm kind of trusting my teammate here. He feels like he's good to go. And you got to kind of trust your teammate, especially if they're going on the water, because they kind of have to dictate what's going on in terms of how their eco's doing. Like, if their eco's ready to go, and you might not be ready, man, you got to go and use their eco to your advantage. In terms of using stuff to your advantage, man, use your sheep. Like, look at those sheep that's sitting there. That's probably, what, like 1,000 to around 1,000 food? I'm not sure how fattened they are, but at this point, it's probably around 1,000. Like, that's an easy grab that you can get. But he's still keeping them there, and we're going to siege out this town center. He's coming with a massive army. So, yeah, we're trying to figure out what's going on here in terms of their strategy. We know that they got something planned. They've been doing a lot of stuff early. But I was trying to find the castle there, but we weren't sure if they were going water or anything, and we didn't really see anything, so we were kind of confused there. But here we go, man. Obus are here. I'm freaking out. I'm like, dude, we're gonna get slaughtered. just trying to take out these calves. So I rushed the obelisk, and he's going to do stupid hit and runs, which is OP. Like, look at that. 3 gone, 3 gone, 3 gone, like, gone again. And that's just, I'm getting, like, straight up slaughtered. I don't even know what to say, man. Just getting suffered. Or getting suffering in that. Don't even know what to say, man. But that was just rough. So I'm like, all right, go kill blue. I don't want to get killed anymore. So we're taking down more houses here. I'm going back and forth. I don't know what's going on. Blue's just sieging down the houses like nothing's happening. And then this is when we see that purple has the water boom going. So yeah, look at that, dude. Obis are just insane, man. Look how good they are. Just abusing that hit and run. We got all the houses down. We did great damage here. And we have him under pressure. But just abusing those Obis is something you got to deal with. Unfortunately, a lot. So going right here, we got another batch ready to go. And we have finally aged up. Age 3. Eco's going great. Everything's going great. Gonna send out that 900 infinite wood card. So we can get another town center out. And get all those rice paddies out. And put India into maximum overdrive. And I'm not even paying attention, dude. Our guys were just getting slaughtered there. But I'm trusting the teammate. He was saying the push. We're going to push. We're going to keep going here. And just look at our coin count, man. The resources are fantastic right now. But yeah, trusting him. He's getting some good kills here. And yeah, I thought it would be a good idea to go elephants. The game isn't really going to transition as much to let me do that. But look at this wall. This housing wall we got. But yeah, look at that. Fire Junkie's about to go in. And trying to see what I was going to do there. Yeah, I was trying to transition, knowing how much coin we had. But yeah, just kind of getting this a little bit of rating going in here. And just waiting for a teammate to queue in another attack. And I was trying to switch over to elephants with that wood upgrade, which somehow I was looking forward to in this game. I was like, dude, elephant right now would be amazing. I think elephants do their best in age 3. I know it's kind of hard to get them all out because it costs such high population and you need all those cards and stuff. But yeah, I mean, you got to use them when the situation's right. Like elephants would desolate those obelisk guns if you can get enough of them. And the other thing is too is you got to come in with that attack at the same time when look at that, man, Cav's coming in at the same time when you can surround them. Because if you come in with just like 5 elephants, he could pretty easily, depending on how many obis he has, just hit and run those elephants and take them out in like one shot because of how much damage the obis do. So that's something you gotta be aware of, especially when you're playing against an Amun player with those elephants. So there we go, man. The Fire Junkie's coming in. I saw it coming in there, dude. I'm just like, all right, I'm marching out. And right now, at the same time, dude, Blue is inside their base. Like, I'm not sure what he's doing at this point, why he's coming up and trying to get me. But it was just game over. There's no chance after that. We got the water taken down, and Blue is just doing great work there with the raids. So that is going to be it with this India game, guys. I really enjoyed this match. And I think that was a pretty good video for some stereotypical Indian gameplay. Let me know your thoughts as always. We'll check the post game here in a second. But I think it was a great match, especially playing such an aggressive pair of civs there with the Germans and the Ottomans. And yeah, you just kind of see India going to work. And you also get to see China do some great work there too with the water boom, which I have not done yet. But look at our score, through the roof because of this Indian economy. And I think I'm going to check the post game here. I don't quite remember. Gotta check it out. But awesome game. I think it's pretty good civ, man. Definitely my top 5 India would be. Depending on what kind of player you are, I would do it if you like playing age 2 and age 3. That would be my biggest recommendation. But overall, man, give them a shot. Try the strategy out and have some fun. So there you go. You get to see that Indian highlight. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoy as always, and I'll see you guys in the next video.